Hey everyone, what is going on? Byte that here with another SRT Square Round Table. I'm Ryan. Joining me is Keith. A bit of a smaller round table today. We do not have Juan with us, but nevertheless, plenty to discuss. Now I know Festivus has long passed, but I think we need to do a airing of the grievances.
Agreed.
And that is
it's good to keep
wrestling.
the soul healthy, you know?
Exactly.
Just let it all out.
Pet peeves in wrestling. What are the things, those little things that annoy us? Maybe some are bigger than others, but what are those things that just get under your skin about wrestling, about WWE, the tropes of wrestling that you're tired of? What are those? So Keith, name your first pet peeve.
All right.
Yeah, we're just going to ramble off some. Some will talk more than others. Let's just let it flow and see what happens.
This is in no particular order. I'm not by how we say them.
No particular order.
They are of equal level. So number one, combos in wrestling, the comeback combos, the sequence of moves that you can see coming a mile away, like the John Cena 5 moves of doom, the Bret Hart atomic drop, elbow drop stuff, like those sequences, or even the I would even say the Rock DDT spine buster people's elbow combination. It's just those things that wrestling,
that it's a predictable formula.
Yeah, wrestling is on the basically lives on a borderline of being too formulaic, and those things do not help that cause at all. And
absolutely, because we understand the purpose where, it's supposed to let the crowd know to be excited that, they're coming back, they're getting this momentum, and it's a part of the match that you recognize we're getting close to the finisher. And that's the big, the big exciting moment of the match.
But at the same time, you're getting close to the finisher. So you're like, okay, winding down, I guess.
It does make matches come down to whether it's like, okay, John Cena's getting his comeback. Now, is it the first attitude adjustment that's going to win the match? Or is it he reverses out of it, they do a little more, and then it's over? It does make the matches a little too predictable. It wouldn't kill them to maybe, you do shoulder block. What, power slam? What? This is crazy.
Right?
Maybe
throw
mix
in a suplex.
Throw in a fisherman suplex or something. Mix it up. Do a spine buster. You don't even see those really anymore aside from Triple H.
True.
So, that is one. And one thing I want to bring up, it's part of John Cena's combo sequence. It's when every guy ever goes for that clothesline.
Right.
Things like that. See, that is a huge detriment to just the believability of a match if you have something built into your comeback sequence that makes the other guy always have to do the same thing every time. It makes all of Cena's opponents look stupid that every time they fall for it, aside from the fringe case, every once in a blue moon they'll play off of that everyone always throws that clothesline. But I think to have something like that in your comeback sequence is just bad news and really can take people out of the experience.
And the Rock's spine buster must be the strongest move in wrestling, right? Because it lays them out for at least 30 to 45 seconds while he does the entire people's elbow. There's going to have to be a debate.
What is the most effective move in wrestling? Is it the Rock's spine buster because they stay down so long? Or is it Scotty 2 Hottie's double-handed bulldog that makes them stay down for the entire worm sequence? That itself is a discussion way on its own. So kind of playing off of that, the almost like positioning in wrestling. One, Rey Mysterio, and you probably know where I'm going with this.
Is he
in every Rey Mysterio match, people somehow are just 99.9% more prone to land in that 619 position. Where it's, they drop kick the leg and all of a sudden they fall to the ropes like that. Yet no other time in any other match do you see people fall into that position often.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that's just one thing that annoys me. Maybe, every once in a while, sure, have the guy land like that. But Ray, why don't you just pick him up and just throw him over the ropes the way you need him to be sometimes? Just mix it up a little bit So it's not just this unrealistic experience where they always just happen to fall that way in only Rey Mysterio matches.
And once again, super effective moves, that running drop toe hold that leaves them on the rope for the entire duration of the 619.
Yeah.
Maybe a little overpowered. No, that one's definitely a pet peeve. But to change up gears a little bit, another pet peeve from a storyline angle that I have in wrestling is love triangles. They never work. Recent example, the Ziggler, Rusev, Lana, Summer Rae. I guess that's more of a square, but it just never works. Like, think about the Claire Lynch stuff in TNA. I would even consider Katie Vick, that whole stuff, just a weird love triangle, but nonetheless. I guess
one that sort of maybe worked was the AJ, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. I mean, they even threw Kane in there for a little bit.
But did it work because it was CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at the end of the day?
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. I think it was probably one of the better ones in more recent years, but overwhelmingly, I mean, you had the Lita and Kane and
Gene
Edge
Snitsky and Edge.
Snitsky and Matt. It was Matt Hardy there. Well, you had the Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
The Matt Hardy Edge Alita, now that was a different monster.
Yeah,
that had some fuel behind it, so that was a little bit different because that was real. But overwhelmingly, they just come off pretty bad.
Agreed.
One thing, this is a quick one. I think we've all made fun of enough. The 45-degree angle TV watching. We understand why they do it. As far as like just the way you have to film it or whatever, so you can see what they're watching, and maybe you can't just have the cameraman's reflection in the TV screen or some weird thing like that.
Who watches TV like that?
It's
really
weird that nobody just sits in front of a TV like anyone else. I feel like there's better ways that they could do that, but nevertheless, I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that one?
No, I mean, I think you said it. Just who watches TV like that? That's a real human being. The answer is nobody. We understand why, but still, there's gotta be a better answer to that just nobody's thought of yet.
All right, so my actual real pet peeve is useless fan votes. When we'll get, hey, is this going to be a no DQ match, a no holds bar match,
or a street fight,
or an Extreme Rules, or street fight, where it's like, you can't even like tell us the specific differences between any of these matches. In fact, you've called a lot of these same matches the same, like they've had the same exact rules. Mm-hmm. The only way we can, some of them were deciphered only because of the video games.
Yeah. But I mean, that is something that has been really bad over the last couple of years. They kind of moved away from it. Like, they don't really do fan votes that much anymore. And hey, you know what?
It was a lot more prevalent about a year ago.
Mm-hmm. But if you're going to let fans interact, make the decisions actually important.
Exactly.
Once again, this is one of those I understand from a trying to write a TV show standpoint, but it seems like a little more effort could be put into it.
Yeah, give us submission match in Street Fight or something, get even a cage match, I know it's like you have to hang the cage up there or whatever, and what if the match doesn't happen? It's a little awkward. But you can come up, there's tons of different match types. You can figure it out, and it doesn't have to create too much rewriting if it goes one way instead of the way you wanted it to.
And the beautiful thing about wrestling is if you need to make up a match type, just do it. Make it up on the fly.
Anything on a pole match.
Yeah, for Christ's sake, we had a stairs match a couple of years ago, right? They can do anything.
You could have like a kendo stick match.
Yeah, even like stuff like that, like a chair match, even though I've got my whole set of different issues with the concept of a chair match. Just those little things to even just trick the fans / us into making like, oh, so what is the difference between a street fight and a Falls Count Anywhere match? Oh, nothing? Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a good pick. So now I'm gonna go with my home run here, my biggest pet peeve in wrestling, and it's a bit controversial, and that's social media. I do not think... So, okay, I'm kind of need to go layer by layer on this one. As far as fan interaction to fan interaction on level goes, social media is great. It's one of the best thing that's ever happened in wrestling. It's brought in fans together from all over the world. We can all interact, talk, discuss, bring back great memories that we have. You know, that part of social media is great in wrestling. Now, when it comes to company, specifically the WWE, interacting with fans or integrating it into the show, I think that is one of the worst things that could have ever possibly happened with wrestling. Whether it's the use the hashtag Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way TLC tables on a pole match further to discuss this, or the whole fans interacting with wrestlers and vice versa, and humanizing them a little more because of it. Like, from that respect, I'm a little old school, where I like the concept of, oh, you wanted to see Stone Cold Steve Austin? Well, guess what? You're going to tune in on Monday, and then you're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're not going to look at your phone on Thursday and find out what he's doing.
Been pulled back too far.
Exactly. I think that social media has done that to an extreme with wrestling, that has left it in a place that I consider unfavorable. And yeah.
I mean, it's very cool to be able to interact with these wrestlers, and we get more and more information, but sometimes, you know, the element of surprise, you know, we complain about not enough surprises in wrestling, but
kind of did it to ourselves.
We want everything revealed to us, so that, it is, it's an interesting dynamic, and, you know, the commentary does force the hashtags a lot. I mean, just throw the hashtag Raw right up in the corner and just let us talk.
And plus, wrestlers should be larger than life personalities. And when they're tweeting at you, and even like somebody didn't like something on the show, or two wrestlers are getting into a Twitter beef with each other, that's humanizing them. That's almost working against what you're trying to build as a product.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a controversial one, so we'll have to see what people think in the comments. Yeah. My last big one, and then I'll do a quick small one after, but theme pay-per-views are a huge pet peeve for me. Just you know, you have your Night of Champions, you have your Hell in a Cell, TLC. That just, it totally ruins the gimmick matches that they're named after.
Absolutely.
And with, you know, save for Night of Champions, which can, you know, it is what it is. That's probably the least offender. But, you know, you get your Money in the Bank too, that forces you to do Money in the Bank every year, instead of maybe, if it's tired, you let it rest. But Hell in a Cell and TLC are the big two for me. They've kind of done away with Elimination Chamber. We don't know if that's going to become a network special whenever, or when it's going to pop up. But Hell in a Cell, TLC.
You know, I would almost... go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, two matches that I think really need a feud that warrants it, and not just, hey, it's that time of the year, it's time to do the Hell in a Cell. Every once in a while there happens to be a good feud that happens to be going on, and then they can throw it in the Hell in a Cell. But there's been times where literally, you know, CM Punk versus Ryback, I think it was their first ever match against each other in a Hell in a Cell. Granted, there were some unique circumstances, but because of said name of the pay-per-view, they had to deliver on a Hell in a Cell match.
You know,
like, we were so used to these blood feuds. All right, you can go ahead.
All right, I was just going to say, I would almost file it under the same category as combinations like the 5 Moves of Doom, where it just adds an unnecessary level of predictability to wrestling. Like, oh, it's October, we're going to get a Hell in a Cell match. Oh.
Yeah, these two guys have been feuding for a couple months.
Probably going to get
they're just going to get the Hell in a Cell.
Exactly. That's all I wanted to say. You can
when it used to kind of really be broken out once a year for a really intense feud, and it was great. So my last little one is just the steel cage match itself. You know, we're going to lock you inside a 15-foot high steel cage.
Like, that used to mean something. Like, and oh my God, Ric Flair was going to fight Ricky Steamboat in a steel cage.
And now we're going to have this referee who just opens the door and you can walk out of the steel cage.
Oh, and now you can pin them in the steel cage.
Yeah. Escape only. Give us escape only steel cage matches. At very least, just take the door away for the love of God. If you want to do pinfall and escape, fine. I will compromise with you on that. Just keep that damn door locked. I am so done with it. Ugh.
No, I agree completely. The steel cage has been a victim, probably the biggest victim of how gimmick matches have gotten crazier and crazier over the years. Like, now that we live in a world with the Hell in a Cell, with the Elimination Chamber, with TLC matches, the steel cage is just kind of
the escape, that is its selling point.
Yeah.
Like, you have Hell in a Cell in Elimination Chamber where it's just about pinning. Steel cage match, that could be its unique
That could be
trait.
its unique,
because,
yeah.
I mean, people looked at, Hell in a Cell was like the upgrade to steel cage, and Elimination Chamber maybe even the upgrade to Hell in a Cell in a lot of ways. So let steel cage have that unique element to it be kind of its true identity.
I agree.
And yeah, a lot of escapes happen, but the whole messing with the door and pinning, it takes away from the matches, and they end up not being very exciting. So any last few you want to rattle off, or are you good?
No, I feel like I've aired my grievances. It's I got my big point home.
Do you feel a little better? Do you feel?
I do. This was almost like wrestling therapy, and
I was about to say it was a very therapeutic feeling. So that has been our SRT on wrestling pet peeves. In the comments below, please let us know your wrestling pet peeves. This is always a fun topic to discuss. Yeah. What are just those little things that just annoy you, and do you sympathize with some of ours? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have not hit the subscribe button to this amazing YouTube channel, please hit that now, because you can catch our weekly WWE discussion on our podcast every single Tuesday. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on another Square Round Table.
Bye-bye.